Good morning. Welcome to day 4 of being in Boise, Idaho again. We decided to sleep in and skip the hotel breakfast, and so now we are on our way to Starbucks because I need a coffee. It's the best way to start your day. Pete just left for work for the day to go to the airport. He had to wait for the parts to be delivered. They were delivered this morning, so he's definitely getting a late start today, which means he'll probably be back late tonight. I was just looking on bringfido.com trying to find a good restaurant for us to go to tonight, and I'm actually thinking we might, depending on when he gets back and how everybody feels, might go back to that Tupelo honey place that we went to last time we were here in Boise about a month ago. We really enjoyed the atmosphere, the location, the food was amazing, the service was great, and it's not far from the Freak Alley Gallery, which is neat to walk through and see all the art. I love it. So that might be what we do later tonight. We also need to make another trip to Petco because of the extra stay. I didn't have enough dog food packed with me, so we'll have to run to Petco and get her a bag of her stuff. As I was Googling things, I found the old Idaho State Penitentiary. They do tours, and it's only like $8 a person. It's not dog friendly, so we'd have to go, like Pete said he would stay in the car if I wanted to go in and check the place out. Obviously, it's not going to happen today because they're only open noon to 5. But maybe tomorrow before we go home. That might be fun. I mean, while we're here, I've been wanting to check the place out. It's supposed to be haunted, supposedly, and just so much history. I think it'd be neat. Anyway, I'm just thinking out loud. Today, I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I'm not going to stress myself on crocheting to see how much I can get done in one day because I'm exhausted. I didn't sleep very well. I am going to edit a video so I have my next upload ready so I don't have to stress by the time we get home. We check out tomorrow, and it's a 6-hour drive, and then obviously we're gonna have to make stops because we have the dog with us, so it'll probably actually end up being closer to 7 hours with stops for gas, potty breaks, and lunch somewhere in there. So we're gonna end up getting home late, and then we gotta unpack the car, so I won't have a whole lot of time to edit a video for the next day. So I'm gonna do it now. So let's do it. Doing some serious multitasking right now. I'm in the middle of editing, and I'm also crocheting. I'm waiting for stuff to render, so while that's happening, because it takes forever to render clips, I've been crocheting Fs that will go on to BAUWZ eventually. I'm prepping for the car ride home tomorrow. I thought if I did like the detailed pieces now, then in the car, all I have to do is crochet the round bulb part of the BAUWZ and then sew the Fs on. And I think later tonight I will make the fuse part that goes in the top. And then all I have to do is just pack black and a little bag of stuffing for my front seat area. And then everything else can go in the back. So we're gonna work on a bunch of these. I don't know how many I'll be able to get done in the car because I don't want to burn out. So I think maybe 4 is a nice good number. So far we have pink, purple. I'm going to make this baby blue and then maybe a red. We'll see. All right, back to it all. Ugh. Busy, busy, busy.
3 hours later.
Okay, so Pete got done with work early enough for me to come visit the old Idaho State Penitentiary, and that's where I'm at right now. This is really neat. The old Idaho Penitentiary State Historical Site was a functional prison from 1872 to 1973 in the western United States, east of Boise, Idaho. The first building, also known as the Territorial Prison, was constructed in the Territory of Idaho in 1870. The territory was 7 years old when the prison was built, a full 2 decades before statehood. From its beginnings as a single cell house, the penitentiary grew to a complex of several distinctive buildings surrounded by a 17-foot-high sandstone wall. The stone was quarried from the nearby ridges by the resident convicts who also assisted in later constructions. Less than 2 miles southeast of downtown Boise and near Table Rock, the old Idaho Penitentiary is operated by the Idaho State Historical Society. The elevation of the site on Warm Springs Avenue is approximately 2,770 feet above sea level. Dennis, a kitten found in the prison barn by an inmate in 1952, was kept in the penitentiary for 16 years. Guards allowed him to keep Dennis, even though incarcerated men were not allowed pets. Dennis roamed the yard and made friends. The guards and inmates grew to love him. In 1968, Dennis died in his sleep. The inmates performed a funeral in his honor, even providing him a headstone. Dennis is the only inmate buried within the prison walls. Over its 101 years of operation, the penitentiary received more than 13,000 inmates with a maximum population of a little over 600. 216 of the inmates were women. 2 famous inmates were Henry Orchard and Lida Southard. Orchard assassinated former Governor Frank Steinenberg in 1905, and Southard was known as Idaho's Lady Bluebeard for killing several of her husbands to collect their life insurance. Serious riots occurred in 1952, 1971, and 1973 over living conditions in the prison. The 416 resident inmates were moved to the new State Correctional Institution south of Boise, and the old penitentiary was closed on December 3, 1973. 5 years earlier, in 1968, numerous prison trustees had escaped by walking away. In 1992, the Idaho State Historical Society recorded oral history interviews with 15 former prison guards. These tapes and transcripts cover prison operations and remembrances from the 1950s to the closing of the prison. The collection is open for research at the Society.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear, driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear, like an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun, running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running low. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running low. Keep running low.
The territorial prison was completed in 1872 and received its first 11 inmates from the Boise County Jail. This building was converted into a chapel in the 1930s and was destroyed by fire in the 1973 riot. The new cell house consisted of 3 tiers of 42 steel cells. The third tier closest to the Rose Garden served as death row. The area now known as the Rose Garden, as this is what it is now, was once used to execute prisoners by hanging. Of the 10 executions in the old state penitentiary, 6 occurred here. The administration building housed the warden's office, armory, visitation room, control room, and turnkey area. The false front building held the commissary, trustee dorm, barber shop, and hospital. Originally, the blacksmith shop was remodeled in 1912 and remained the prison hospital until the 1960s. The hospital was then converted into the social services office, but burned down in the 1971 riot. The dining hall was designed by George Hamilton, an inmate at the time, and burned down in the 1973 riot. Cell House 2, also known as the North Wing, contained 2 man cells. A honey bucket was placed in each cell to serve as a toilet. Inmates burned the building in the 1973 riot. Cell House 3 was built the same as Cell House 2. It was eventually condemned for habitation, but in 1921 was converted into a shoe factory. In 1928, this building was remodeled for inmate occupancy and became the first cell house with indoor plumbing. The women's ward dormitory was built out of necessity. Prior to its completion, the women moved into the warden's old house in 1905. Previously, women did not have separate quarters, and several scandals forced their relocation. Male inmates built a wall around the old warden's home in 1906 to serve as a separate facility for women. This building had 7 two-person cells, a central day room, kitchen, and bathroom facilities. This building held the infamous Lida Southard. Built by inmates, the multi-purpose building served as a shirt factory, shoe shop, bakery, license plate shop, laundry, hobby room, loafing room, and housed the communal showers. Solitary confinement consisted of 2 sections. The first, built in the early 1920s, was the cooler. Although built for solitary confinement, each cell contained 4 to 6 men. The second section, known as Siberia, was built in 1926 and housed 12 3-by-8-foot cells with 1 inmate per cell. Cell House 4 was the largest and most modern cell house at the penitentiary. Some inmates painted their cells and left drawings on the walls that can be seen today. Cell House 5 was maximum security, where the most unruly and violent offenders stayed. This building also served as a permanent place of solitary confinement. It includes a built-in gallows and death row. Although not a building, there is also an outdoor recreational area that is now the Idaho Botanical Gardens, where inmates boxed and played baseball, basketball, handball, tennis, horseshoes, and football. The baseball and later softball team was named the Outlaws and frequently played teams from across the Treasure Valley. A baseball stadium was located in what is now referred to as Outlaw Field, where the Botanical Gardens host outdoor concerts. The prison cemetery is located in the Botanical Gardens as well. The prison has become a popular site for ghost hunters. The Travel Channel's television show Destination Fear filmed at the location for the 13th episode of their second season. Ghost Adventures investigated the old Idaho State Penitentiary for the 8th episode of their first season. The Idaho State Historical Society also produces a podcast, Behind Gray Walls, which tells the stories of individual inmates. That was really cool. I am so glad I got the chance to check this out. Pete's on his way to come pick me back up. Our hotel's about a 15-minute drive from here, so he ended up going back to the hotel since we have the dog. I really enjoyed this. This was cool. It's open every day, noon to 5, and it's only $8 for adults. We are now downtown Boise. We're going to walk through the Freak Alley Gallery and then go find somewhere for dinner, somewhere dog friendly. back in our hotel room from all the wandering around downtown. We went into a little adventure shop. I don't remember the name of the store. Let me look at my receipt. It's called Banana Inc. Ended up buying this little ornament. They're hiking boots. How cute is that? And Shorty got another Frisbee from Tupelo Honey, as this is what they served her dinner on, and we got to keep that as a souvenir. These are great when we travel as a backup plate for her. I think I'm gonna end the video here. The rest of the night, we're just gonna be hanging out in the room, watching some TV. I'm gonna finish editing another video and maybe do some crocheting, take a shower, and go to bed. Tomorrow's our last day here. We check out of the hotel and head back home to Portland, Oregon. So I will see you then. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.